Hello and thank you for joining us on the hot seat. Tonight we host the Soy Member of Parliament, Kositany, who is also a key leader in the Tanga Tanga movement. My name is Sarah Mwangi. Let's have this conversation. How is it going now that BBI is already a yes?
Well, BBI is a yes, and I believe it's not a genuine yes. A lot of members of parliament voted because some of them were getting constituencies, and they feel that if they vote no, where their hearts are, they would end up having a political problem with somebody going to claim that we were getting an extra constituency and you went and voted no, you denied us an extra constituency. So we actually, I would say, the wing that has been called Tanga Tanga, we never had a position on BBI because we have, as I've always said, it was never our baby. Either way, whether BBI passes or fails, we're in a good position. So we never had any position. We let our members vote according to their local political ground, what it is saying. And I think, as I said, BBI is a very much talked about item, but very unpopular.
So is it, what could you allude to some of the members of Tanga Tanga, all close allies to the DP, like Kimani Ngunjiri, and we saw him voting yes, and that came as a surprise to everyone, I guess.
It is not a surprise at all. You know, we are very democratic in the Tanga Tanga wing. We are very democratic. Everybody has a right to vote the way they want, so long as you know you're not doing the wrong thing. So the vote was either a yes and a no, or and a no. And whoever voted no, voted with their conscience. Whoever voted yes, voted with their conscience. We're not going to victimize anybody. We're not going to suspect anybody. We're going to move on as a team.
They're still members
They're
of
still
Tanga
members of Tanga
Tanga
Tanga until
and
they pronounce
UBA.
themselves out. But they're still with us.
Oh, fantastic. So now, before we go deep into the politics, who is Caleb Kositany besides being the MP for Soy?
Well, Caleb is a member of parliament for Soy, and I'm a farmer. I do a lot of farming back in Soy and in Nandi Hills. I've been in politics since 1988 when I first voted. I think that's when I turned 18 and got my ID card. So I've been in the game for long, and I ran in 2013 and lost, but ran in 2017 and won, and that is how politics is.
All right. 1988 is when you turned 18. So how was your childhood? Where did you grow up? Did you have siblings?
Well, I have siblings. I'm last born in a family of 11, so I'm the 11th born.
Proper football team.
Proper football team. 3 girls and 8 boys. My parents are both deceased. They brought us up very well. I grew up mostly in Eldoret. Went to Hill School Primary, finished. Went for my secondary school, finished, went into business, then did my degree in international relationship, and now I am doing my master's on the same. And yes, and I'm now in politics.
So where did you go to university, and was politics part of it while you're studying? Or
no, I didn't. I went into university actually after being elected a member of parliament. I didn't pursue it immediately after my 4th form because I had other things to do. So I went into it after being elected into parliament.
All right. So business, then politics.
Yes.
What was the driving force to get into politics?
Well, I knew that I could do what I am doing now. I felt that I could do it better than some people were doing it. I felt that I had a voice, a voice of reason, that can actually propel this country to prosperity. I believe that I am one of those people who is very genuine in terms of friendship, in terms of keeping my word, and in terms of meaning well for this country. I don't put myself first. I put the people of Soy first and the people of Kenya first. of course, and my family, and then other things can follow. But in all I do, it is about making Kenya a better place than I found it.
So did you have before you joined into politics, what pushed you to getting into it? Was it bad governance from your predecessor? Was it a thing you felt you need to get to the national leadership, or was it just trial and error?
It was not actually, I wouldn't call it bad governance, because everybody does things the way they see they're doing it best,
Yes.
the way they feel they're doing it best. But I felt I could do better. Apparently, you may have the best ideas in this country, but if you are not in politics, or rather in leadership, then your influence is downgraded.
Yes.
So that is one of the things that pushed me, because I felt that I needed to be at a position of influence in order that when I speak, my voice is heard, my actions are taken seriously, and of course, somebody somewhere would listen.
So you get into politics in 2013 officially.
Yes.
And you lost, right?
Yes, I ran for Member of Parliament of Soy in 2013, and I lost.
How was that for you, especially as a first timer?
It was normal. I mean, in politics, you either win or lose. I just went back to doing my things, nothing, no hard feelings, nothing.
And then you decided
Yes,
going back.
I said 5 years is not a very long time, and there it came.
2017.
2017, it was smooth all the way.
I like that. So when you got in, and for real, the first time you're getting in Parliament and you're singing in the chambers, you're swearing in for the first time as the MP of Soy, how was that feeling?
Well, nothing. Well, at least that feeling. Yes, now I'm here. And now let me exercise my constitutional mandate as a representative of the people of Soy, and as a member of the Jubilee Party. So, so far I'm happy with my performance. I think I've done, well, I wouldn't be the one to rate myself, but I think I've done exceptionally well. And I'm hoping for the best in future.
So before you got into Parliament, what's the one thing you really wanted to do for the people of Soy, and you believe for now it's already a done deal?
Well, one of the key things that I really wanted is education. Because of the CDF fund, which is a very fantastic idea, that we devolved money down to the constituency level, so that the Member of Parliament can prioritize construction of schools, and buying buses for schools, and doing all the necessary facilities for the primary and secondary schools, and of course also giving bursary. One of the key things that I wanted in Soy is that every secondary school, whether it's a day school, whether it's a boarding school, whether it's a high class, or whether it's a low class, every public secondary school in Soy now has a functioning science laboratory, fully equipped and functioning, because we lose a lot of bright students who would be doctors, they would be engineers, they would be architects, they would be surveyors, you know, because we don't have laboratory facilities for them to do their practicals. So some schools some students would have to walk maybe 5-10 kilometers to another school to borrow use of the lab. And that now is a thing of the past. Every school has a laboratory, functioning laboratory. I think we have about 3 now. We are in the final stages, and I'm very proud of that.
All right.
Every secondary school.
Every
secondary
school.
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting. And I think that's a good thing for your people, especially the students. So now you get into politics with a very big, one of the biggest parties we had in 2013 and 2017. And you served as the deputy secretary of Jubilee.
Yes.
How would you describe that period that you were a secretary?
Well, I think it was a very interesting period. And we started off on the right footing. We started off with the belief that we all meant well and we were putting Kenya first. And I would say 2013 to 2018, Jubilee administration did very well in terms of infrastructure development. We have a lot of roads that have been tarmacked. We had the last mile connectivity. We had a lot of programs running, the Wezo Fund for the youth and everything. And we had Kenya First. our mandate was never, it was never in our AOB even, that we would one day discuss about changing the constitution. We never knew that at one time we would be struggling economically because of poor policies and prioritizing projects that are capital intensive because we want to, somebody wants to be seen to be doing grand things. So it is sad where we've gone from since the handshake period up to now, where we are prioritizing personal issues rather than national issues. The world is going through a pandemic, and Kenya is the only country in the entire world that in the midst of an international pandemic, we are prioritizing changing the constitution to create jobs for a few and to create have a bloated parliament, burden the taxpayer more, and rather than discussing how we're going to vaccinate the entire population, how we can even be able to manufacture our own vaccines locally. That is what countries in the world are discussing.
But before we get to what countries and what we ought to be discussing, what happens at Jubilee? Like, what would you say was the key thing that almost has killed the party?
Well, what has killed the party is, you know, when people are in leadership, and when your leadership is coming to the tail end, that is when people realize, hey, it's coming to an end, and we have not, so-and-so seems to be the one who's going to take over. Where will our position be once he takes over? And the people start saying, oh, we'll not be anywhere. So they want to look for a leader who they can install as a leader of this country, somebody who will always turn when they cough. And those are the people we call the deep state. So they have hijacked our political party, trying to create an impression that they are the ones who will decide who will be the next president of the Republic of Kenya. It is as if some people in Jubilee expected that whoever wants to be president, deputy president included, will sit somewhere, and then they'll just go and call him and say, hey, now here, we are making you president. That is what has actually happened in Jubilee. It is sad that some people have forgotten that under Article 1, it is the sovereign will of the people of Kenya to elect their president, and that is where we are. So people forgot that it is the people of Kenya who elect a president, and they started trying to be the ones to manage the succession.
But you are an official in this party.
Yes.
How was it that all of these officials could not see that coming or allowed it to happen?
Well, Jubilee is a political party that has never met. It is running on I would say, on air, or rather on autopilot mode. We have never met to discuss anything substantive since 2017. I think it was February 3rd or 13th in 2017 when we met, and that time we were removing the then Secretary General Veronica Maina and bringing in Raphael Tuju. Surprisingly, that has continued. The only time you hear Jubilee is meeting, it is to kick out somebody from the party. So it started way back in 2017, and we've never recovered from that. So we've just been sitting there.
So would it be that as officials you failed?
No.
Your part?
You see, the party has a leadership structure. When you are the Deputy Secretary General, your influence is very minimal. It is the party leader who runs the affairs of the party. So the failure is from the party leader.
And speaking of failure of the party leader, so does it mean the Kenyan parties basically are more personalized than more oriented towards the needs of the people?
That is, that's a very good question. You know, when we formed Jubilee, one of the reasons that made us leave URP and TNA and all these other small parties was because we had sat down and decided to get out of the tribal parties, whereby once you mention TNA, people look at it and say this is a Kikuyu party. You mention URP and people say, it's a Kalenjin party, it's led by RUto. So we decided to come together as one huge political party a movement that would unite the entire nation. And we succeeded. We succeeded tremendously, beyond even our expectation. We got an absolute majority in the members of the National Assembly. We got an absolute majority in the Council of Governors, in the Senate, a majority of the women reps, majority of the MCAs elected nationwide. We won seats in, out of 47 counties, we had an elected official in 43. So we missed out in only 4 counties. So really that was a big gain. It actually surprised us. But apparently when now we got down the line, people decided, no, this party has become too huge, that we are no longer in control. People felt that even members of their tribe have charted their own political way forward without necessarily having a kingpin, a tribal kingpin to lead them. And that is why Jubilee has been destroyed and is now on its knees. Because people want to go back to a tribal kingpins where you have a tribal leader there, tribal leader there, tribal leader there. And that is why you find people singing this BBI will bring cohesiveness and all. It's because this tribe will get a seat and that tribe, about 5-6 tribes will get the top seats that they are creating. But what happens to the other 38 tribes that will be left out?
But still speaking about tribes, you now have sort of a new party, but you're still under Jubilee, and you have UDA. How different is UDA going to be? What will convince the people that now this is not tribal, this is not a Kalenjin Kikuyu party anymore, it's more of a national party? How different will that be?
Those who will move and are warming up to UDA are those who still believe in the original Jubilee dream. We want to relive that dream. We want to continue with that dream. We still had hope that we would salvage Jubilee from sinking. But there's too much water in the ship now. I don't think it's going to be possible to salvage it. So as and when the time comes, we shall build UDA the same structure, same way we build Jubilee, and the whole team will move there, and we are going to detribalize our politics. And we're already succeeding. We can all see all the tribal kings have ganged up against UDA, and that is where we wanted the conversation to go. We're happy about it.
What if they say you're also ganging up as a tribe to beat them?
in UDA, we have every member of every tribe in Kenya supporting UDA. Most of the other political parties have only their local tribal support. When you look at a party like Ford Kenya, Bukusu party is just in Bungoma. They cannot field a candidate in Nakuru if there's a by-election, or in Mombasa, or in Murang'a, or anywhere in Mount Kenya. They can't field a candidate even for the seat of MCA, because they are just within Bungoma. Look at ANC. It is just a Vihiga, Kakamega party. Look at Kano. The party leader is a Kalenjin, the Secretary General is a Kalenjin, the Vice Chairman is a Kalenjin. It's just a Gideon Moise personal property. And that is the sad thing about those tribal parties. Look at Wiper, just locked in the Kamba Nation, and not the entire Kamba Nation, because we also have Chap Chap, the governor of Machakos. So the sooner we get rid of these tribal parties and these tribal kingpins, then we shall have proper politics in this country.
How would you convince, especially the young people, because I think we have the biggest population, that UDA is going to be a more open party to everyone, that's more policy-oriented than what I win as a person or what my tribe wins?
Well, we are in the process of finalizing our constitution. We're fine-tuning it, and we have a team that is setting. And one of the things that we have taken care of in the constitution of UDA is that nobody will be able to take the political party hostage, not even the party leader. We have put structures whereby organs of the party must meet, will meet, whether the party leader likes it or not, whether the party leader calls a meeting or not. If after 3 months, when the certain organ is meant to meet, the party leader has not called a meeting, then any other member can call for a meeting. So long as they have quorum, they can sit and discuss party issues, and that will be binding to the party, so that we stop this thing of Jubilee whereby the party leader is the all-time decision maker on everything in the party. So youth will have their space. We have professed to the bottom-up, middle-out economic approach. I think the American President Joe Biden has bought into our idea, and that is where we're going to start. We're going to start from the bottom, going up, and I think that is where we carry the aspirations of many Kenyans who are always left out at the decision-making table, because we come, we say, we know a lot of people don't have water, a lot of people do not have tarmac roads, they do not have electricity. But when people are elected, they come to the top, they say, no, now we want to build a highway from Nairobi to Mombasa, a highway from the airport to Westlands, costing 63 billion. When if we put that money into the economy down to uplift these border guys, the mama mboga, the small-scale farmers and large-scale farmers, then we will create employment for many Kenyans. And we'll even be able to be food sufficient and be a net exporter of food products. And to do value addition on all the things that we produce, we want to do value addition. So it's going to be an interesting time once the UDA administration takes over in 2022.
But someone will argue that the same people, you're the same people that told us we will be different when you got in as Jubilee. The deputy president is still the DP as we speak. We are speaking of a 63 billion highway to Westlands, and yet he's part of the decision-making of a country. What does that mean? One
thing you need to know is when you are in a vehicle and the driver is on the steering wheel, you do not control how he drives. You may tell him to go at a certain speed, but he decides he wants to go at 80 and you want him to drive at 120. So the driver is in control. The deputy president is the deputy. We have a president who is the CEO of this country, and it is his word that goes. So the deputy president may offer advice and it is ignored. We know he has been sidelined from since the time of the handshake. You even saw the pettiness that was there when we had a visitor, President of Tanzania, Her Excellency Suluhu, visiting, which is a state function. She was not coming as a private visitor. She was coming as a state guest to this country. The protocols require that the deputy president be there, but of course it is always by a set-up program by the office of the president, and he was left out of that program, which was very petty. We're not crying about it, but we're just bringing to attention of Kenyans how petty we have become as in the top class of leadership.
And how is the DP faring on with all this sidelining?
Oh, he's okay. He's okay. He's busy planning, and he has now more time on his hands to meet people in smaller groups, of course, because of the COVID-19 regulations. And I think he's happy. Of course, he's sad that we are at this state, not because he has done anything wrong, but because of people feel that they want somebody else who can bend. They can bend to do what they want to do him to do, to be president, and they think William Ruto is not the right person. He's not a pushover. He's not a yes man, and that is, I think, his biggest enemy is because he's a man of himself, and that is his biggest problem. But he's happy. He's happy.
So if he's happy, you won't tell me he can't meet up with the president and air his views?
Well, the president, if he feels he wants advice from the deputy president or he wants another discussion, the deputy president is a phone call away. But as it is now, the president has changed his module of running affairs, and William Ruto's ideas and suggestions or observations are not required. So we can't force them on the president. The president is running his country in his own way, in his own style, and Kenyans are watching.
Would he opt to resign? From your knowledge and your friendship?
No, resignation is not even in our AOB.
Never.
Resignation is never there. If he had resigned, for example, how would we have known how petty we had become by him not being invited to, or rather being slotted in the program to welcome a state guest? Yeah? How would we have known how petty we have become? The fact that he's still there is exposing the the pettiness, the arrogance that is there now with the Jubilee administration towards a man who worked day and night for this country to have President Uhuru Kenyatta on the seat. We know the president did his bit. We know the percentage of the deputy president put in. And it is sad, but what do you do? That's how human beings, some human beings behave.
Yeah. All right. And speaking of a visiting president and the DP could not, so yesterday, again, you had a discussion on the BBI and it was voted in. And some of his friends, who will the public look at as his friends, voted on there for a yes. What does that mean for UDA as a party?
Oh, fantastic. It is a democracy at play. It is total democracy at play. I told you earlier that we in UDA never took a position. Let me say Tanga wing. We never took a position on this
But
BBI.
most of you were no.
But most of us were no because of very obvious reasons. That one, the drive and the demand to change the constitution was not based on the people's demand. It was based on the decision by two people that they just shook hands and decided, what next? Let's change the constitution in order to accommodate our tribal leadership and tribal beliefs. Somewhere along the line, they are calling it a popular initiative. It is actually very wrong when we're trying to deceive Kenyans that the drive to change the constitution is people-driven. It is not people-driven. It is driven by politics. It is politically driven by very selfish people. And it is sad that we are at that position. But nobody should be victimized. We're not going to victimize anybody for voting no or for voting yes.
But are you worried as a party?
No, that doesn't worry us at all. It doesn't worry us at all.
Because a few weeks ago you told us you had the numbers to stop reggae, but then reggae happened.
It has not happened. We're going to the referendum.
Yes.
Yeah, it has not happened. We're going to the referendum. And you know, it is, I wish you knew what was happening in Parliament yesterday. People were going around and telling somebody, you know, you need to vote. If you don't vote, this is ABCD is going to happen, especially those who are chairs of committees and all. And it is sad that my colleagues glorify being a chairman of a committee at the expense of auctioning your country or digging a hole, putting your country deeper into a hole. We're already in a hole and we say we need to stop digging. But because of a position that you hold or because of one person, look at what happened to a very brilliant mind, Tienda Amolo, who gave an excellent opinion and the truth about the unconstitutionalism of the creation of the 70 constituencies. He was kicked out the following day from the political party. So that tells you these people are allergic to the truth, the proponents of BBI. They don't want any divergent view, whether BBI is right or wrong, however wrong BBI is, however dirty the schemes they put in there are, it must pass because they are the tribal kings. So that's how it is. I come from Wasingishu County. We were given 3 constituencies which we never asked for because our views were not sought. When the BBI task force came to Wasingishu County, none of the elected leaders was invited. They just picked a few people, I would call them robots, took them to a hotel somewhere in town, and I think they were given what to say. They were choreographed to say certain things which were friendly to BBI, and then they said they have collected the views of the people of Wasingishu County. But I had the guts to vote no. But some other people, because of their local, and you know, politics is local, decided. But we have members also of parliament who come from Kiambu, which is getting 6 constituencies, but who stood up and said, hey, listen, it's not about Kiambu, it's about Kenya. If Kiambu is getting 6, and there's a constituency in Kisii, for example, which Borabu constituency, I think, and I've had a lot of the members of Kisii speaking about it, which is so huge, heavily populated, that require a constituency, but they're not getting it. They're not getting a constituency. So anybody who voted no, voted with the people of Kenya. For those who voted yes, there was intimidation. Orengo, being a member of JLAC and leader of majority of minority, minority at the Senate, is we call him the mobile, the law encyclopedia. He's well versed in laws, same as Dr. Otiende Amolo, and you had me thanking the three O's, which was Orengo, Otiende, and Omogeni, who are very serious senior people in the law profession. And they gave their views, and they did not bend, they did not mince their words. But of course, the first culprit became Otiende Amolo. We had James Orengo speak very passionately yesterday about not being intimidated and all. And those are the kind of people we want, who will not be intimidated by their party leaders. They will not be intimidated by their tribal kingpins. They will not be intimidated. You saw a member of parliament saying we follow our party leader like cows. You know, how do you equate yourself to a cow when you have been elected? You have the sovereign will of the people who elected you. You were not voted in by one person. So the intimidation is there. I think James Orengo has made his point, but I believe he's a seasoned politician, and he'll be able to withstand the storm.
So what does, from the issues we're seeing now, what does this mean to the citizens about the kind of leaders we have in the different positions of leadership?
Well, it means a lot. First, it calls on the people of the Republic of Kenya not to vote in people because of euphoric waves that are created by the tribal parties. They need to vote in somebody on principle, somebody who would be voted in and know that, yes, I was voted in by the people because of me, not because of my party leader, not because of my tribe and everything. And then he will be able to exercise that right of representing his people well. And that is why we are making UDA a people-friendly political outfit, whereby your leader will have his space to exercise his democratic right in representing his people, and not necessarily being told this is a party position you must support, you must follow. You know, party position is a dictatorship. Yeah, it's a dictatorship. Party position is decided somewhere, then somebody just comes and throws it at you, and you're supposed to just grab it and run with it. That's actually wrong.
So should we be worried as the citizens of Kenya that we're electing people to go represent their own needs while
You should be absolutely worried. It's a wake-up call to Kenyans that in this coming 2022 election, ensure you're voting for the right president, you're voting for the right governor. Any elective position, do not vote because of the euphoria that is created by political parties. Vote for a political party that has the ideals and that will actually come and exercise what they have promised.
Something else that has been of concern to us as the voters, we saw you sit in parliament till almost midnight voting for the BBI, while as we speak we only have about 1.2 million Kenyans who've been vaccinated. And still we're not sure whether the vaccines are coming in with the happenings in India. Are we having, you people not having the right priorities?
That is now a question that should go to the CEO of the country, because his priorities have gone haywire. I don't know at what stage, and I don't know at what level of thinking my president is, such that at this moment, and of course with his brother Raila Odinga, that at this moment of a serious pandemic that is ravaging the whole world, we are the only country in the entire world that is discussing change of the constitution. We are the only country in the whole world that is choking in debt, but still we want to increase the number of members of parliament we have. We want to bring in another maybe 200. Approximately there will be a new 200 new members of parliament. We want to say that we want to spend 14 billion to run a referendum when we have only vaccinated, I think maybe 2% of our entire population have been vaccinated, and they've not even done the second dose. We are not even sure whether those of us who took the first dose will be able to get the second dose. Mine is due on the 12th. I don't know whether I will get the dose, because I don't know whether it's available. I see no reason, and that's why I said yesterday, they need to tell us, what is the hurry to change the constitution? What is it? Where is the hidden card in here that we are not seeing? Because there seems to be something that that President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga know about BBI that we don't know. There's something they know, they see, but us we don't see it. They need to tell us why it is so urgent, more urgent than the lives of Kenyans.
As the lawmakers that we put you in place to be, you want to tell me there's nothing you can do to change the narrative?
Well, what would you do when you are facing, you have intimidation? You've just heard from none other than the leader of minority. You have seen what happened to Atienda Amolo. Was it colleagues yesterday who were being threatened by the leaders of their political parties that you must vote yes, or if you vote no, you will have consequences. And they went on and voted. They went on and voted no, and told them, "I'm ready for the consequences." So it's actually very sad that even a person like Raila Odinga, who history has always put him in a place whereby he's been fighting for the rights of Kenyans. He's been against political intimidation and intolerance by the system. But right now he's sitting back and enjoying, because when he sees members of parliament being arbitrarily arrested, trumped up charges, we've seen businessmen, because they are considered competition, or those who are in the high offices want to take over their businesses or want to start similar businesses. We've seen KRA being unleashed on them. Local investors, Kenyans, being given serious high fees. You have not paid your taxes and all. It's actually very sad that nobody is comfortable in doing business anymore. You are doing business and looking at your back. When you hear a knock at your door, you don't know who is coming to harass you. So it's actually a very toxic environment that we are in now.
So are you telling us that MPs are now powerless, and we put you there so that you can represent us?
The parliament has become an appendix of the executive. I would say the executive has its hand in parliament. A lot of members of parliament are not exercising their constitutional mandate. They are exercising the mandate of a few individuals, and it's very sad.
So we, as Kenyans, what should we expect from you people that we put in positions of power?
Well, as I said earlier, what we expect is, and you see the reason why these people are not performing their constitutional mandate, they are performing the mandate as directed by others, is because of this political party loyalty. It's a party position and all this manner of things. But you see, there is nothing wrong with having a party position. But call your members of your political party, come and sit with them, and now convince them. But when you cannot even call your members of your political party, who were with you as you went around the country seeking political power or the buy-in of Kenyans, then after that, all of a sudden they become useless. It is now you who knows it all. You are the one to decide, and the rest of people should be yes men and yes women. That is very, very sad.
Yeah. And from that, now that BBI in parliament is a yes, what's next from your Tanga wing?
Well, BBI is a yes in parliament, and it's going to the referendum. And as I said earlier, and it's a yes because of intimidation and coercion and bribery. A lot of people who voted yes, genuinely, in their hearts of hearts, they would have voted no if there was no intimidation of being arrested, KRA being unleashed on you, being removed from the X-committee. What is left now is for the people of Kenya to make the decision, because, of course, I know I think there are several court cases that they have to overcome, and after that, then they will go to the referendum. But the key things that Kenyans need to look at as they go through, this proposed bill comes to them, is one, do they want to have a bloated National Assembly? Do they want to add another 200 members of the National Assembly? And that is in the BBI draft. Two, do they want to have a judiciary that will be controlled by the state? Because the introduction of the ombudsman and the powers that have been given to the office of the ombudsman will make judges have to present their judgments to State House for the executive to give clearance that that is a judgment that is friendly to them, and therefore you can go and release it, and you will not be victimized for it. So justice, our judges, the security of tenure in the office has been removed in this BBI, because currently in the current constitution, if you have an issue with a judge, you will go and report to JSC. JSC will investigate. After that, they will recommend to the president to form a tribunal, and then the judge will go and defend himself. And after that, the tribunal will give its findings. The accuser of the judge will come in an open sitting and give his accusation, and everybody will be listening. And then the tribunal will make the decision and recommend the removal of the judge to the president. Right now, the the ombudsman will listen to the case and through the Judicial Service Commission, and then recommend action, and that's it. There will be no tribunal. So judges will be victims of intimidation, the way we are seeing elected representatives are victims of intimidation. So if an elected person like me, who has a security of tenure for 5 years, can be intimidated, then what about a judge? So we need to, those are the key things that we need to look at as people of Kenya go for this referendum. And my suggestion is this. Yes, we have constituencies that are highly populated. We have the CDF allocation framework, which is actually disadvantages areas that are highly populated, like even my constituency. So what we need to do, instead of adding more constituencies, more members of parliament to be paid, and then divide the same CDF, what we should do is increase the amount of CDF and distribute CDF based on the population and the number of primary schools and secondary schools that you have in your area, so that we do not all get the same allocation for CDF for somebody with 10 primary schools and me with 140, 20-something secondary schools, we get the same allocation.
Proponents will argue about the voting when you have something in parliament.
Well, that is fairness, and that is what should come to parliament for fairness. But the issue of increasing the number of members of parliament, it's a no for me.
All right. So are you going to be on the road again for a no campaign of some sort?
I don't think we will want to go for a no campaign. Personally, I will not do that. But I will use whatever means, maybe social media campaigns, to enlighten people. Because of COVID-19, I also don't think we've seen what is happening in India, because they broke the protocols and went into large gatherings. So I think we will be very careful. We'll observe the COVID protocols, and we will talk to our people through maybe in very small clusters, so that we can send the message to them.
All right. So you've been the MP one term in Soy, and from your social media, I have seen you want to be the next governor of Uasin Gishu. Are you ready? And why do the people of Uasin Gishu have to vote for you?
Well, the people of Uasin Gishu have asked me to run for governor.
Oh, they did?
Yes, I have. It was not in my plans, but the discussion is very heavy. The pressure is enormous. I will make that decision when the time comes. And I believe the people of Uasin Gishu are very intelligent. For them to have looked at all the other aspirants who have already declared and said, no, the one who can handle us and handle Uasin Gishu well is Kositany. I wish to say I'm considering their opinions, and very soon I will make that known.
Do you have the blessing of the DP?
I don't need the blessings of the Deputy President to run for governor. I need the blessings of God and the people of Uasin Gishu.
Right.
The Deputy President is running for president, yes. And I don't think he wants to involve himself in local politics.
Really?
Yes.
I thought the top has to put their people
No,
in
the
place.
Deputy President is a different breed of politician. He works with whoever the people have elected.
Right.
He does not guide and instruct the people to elect so and so. Anybody waiting for an endorsement from William Ruto doesn't know William Ruto. There is no endorsement, open playing field, and the people of Uasin Gishu will be the ones to make the decision.
And just one more thing that I had forgotten from UDA. With the by-election in Nakuru, there was a lot of violence. Is that what we expect now that you're running for governor? and of course the DP going for the top seat.
That is why we say there's a lot of conmanship in this BBI story, because we are told this BBI is going to eradicate political violence. It's going to take care of the winner take all format. And what we saw in Nakuru, state-sponsored violence, for an MCA seat in Nakuru and Naivasha. We saw the same in Kabuchai and Matungu constituencies, whereby police officers are actually there under instructions not to interfere if it is the UDA wing that is under attack. And it was very unfortunate. And that is why I say that it's conmanship when we decide that even this handshake that we are told, oh, it's bringing peace and stability to the country. In short, actually, we are saying we are rewarding dishonesty. We are saying run for an election, lose, claim it has been stolen, cause chaos, you'll be called for an handshake, given a piece of the cake, and then you are happy, you say now we are at peace. Actually, we are lying to ourselves. We are lying to ourselves. The greatest issue in our politics is actually sponsored violence, political sponsored violence, and it should never happen. It's a sad thing that it is happening under the Jubilee administration. It's a sad thing that we are lying about it, that we have taken care of it when we are actually brewing it more by trying to entrench tribal kings. But I think the people of Kenya are intelligent enough, and I'm sure they will exercise their democratic right come 2022. I pray that the will of the people should be respected once we have voted in 2022.
All right. And I hope we shall have peace well at it.
Absolutely.
So as we come to a close, what would be your final message to the people of Uasin Gishu, of course, where you want to run, and the people of Kenya at large on this campaign? Well,
the people of Uasin Gishu, I would say to them, our key issue in Uasin Gishu is, first of all, we need to have peace. We need to ensure that we maintain the peaceful coexistence that we had in 2013, and we had a repeat of it in 2017. That should continue. That should be us. That should be us, peaceful people, people who vote with their conscience, people who vote because they have believed in the ideology that has been marketed to them. And let us not accept any voices from outside to come and divide us. It's very key that we get the leadership that we require in Uasin Gishu County, because it's a cosmopolitan area, leadership that will unite us, not divide us, so that we are able to go about all our businesses, be it farming, be it running a restaurant, whatever it is. We need to come together so that we ensure we maintain peace. To the people of Kenya, I would say it is time for us to change our module. It is time to change how we elect leaders. Let us not elect leaders because of the tribes they come from. Let us not elect leaders because of the amount of money that they will come with. Let us not elect leaders because they have intimidated us. Let us this time intimidate those who have been intimidating us by voting with our conscience.
All right, I like that. And that's a good place to end it. Mahesh, thank you so much for joining us on the hot seat tonight. Of course, we've been speaking to the Soy Member of Parliament, Caleb Kositany, and you've heard from him and his team from Tanga. Of course, he spoke a few things here and there, but we will see you next time. Thanks for joining us on the show. Good night.